Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Trevor Matteson Movie Show. We are back. We are back. Those who followed my podcast will know that I've been doing this show for the past couple months. Previously, it was a daily show. We will be moving away from the daily show. It will be going weekly now, but the Trevor Matteson Movie Show is back, still talking about all of the movie news every single week now, not every single day, because I'm doing plenty of stuff on YouTube now. I got reviews, uh, I'm doing some ranking stuff, lots of fun stuff. I also have the basement, which you can check out tonight at 7 Central. We'll be going live with my incredible co-host Mara Knopik. So you can go find me over there. But for right now, let's jump back into the movie news, guys. Kicking off with the box office. The box office, specifically Black Widow's box office. So this film was released last weekend. You can check out my review now. Plug. But it's been out for a week now. Currently, it's at 214 million worldwide, 113 of those dollars coming domestically. Had a $39 million domestic opening and $80 million worldwide opening, which is massive. This is the biggest box office opening since the pandemic, which is great. I mean, I think, especially after the success of Avengers Endgame, I know that wasn't the last Marvel film, it was Spider-Man Far From Home, but I think it was kind of expected that a Marvel movie would do it. I still think that Spider-Man No Way Home is probably going to be the highest grossing Marvel film, just because the name of Spider-Man and all of the hype built up around that, of this year, not of all time. But of this year, I think that No Way Home's going to do it. It has that December release date. But this is such a big step in the right direction. Between both this and F9, theaters are looking up. Which is always fantastic to hear. Next story. We're gonna be keeping the same pace as the Daily Show. We're gonna get through stuff as quick as we can. We got two films that have finished shooting. We have Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam, which comes out next year, as well as the live action remake of The Little Mermaid, which I've just realized that Lin-Manuel Miranda is doing the music for that. So yes, please. The cast features Daveed Diggs reuniting with Lin-Manuel Miranda, Melissa McCarthy as Ursula, Javier Bardem as Triton, Awkwafina as Scuttle, Daveed Diggs as Sebastian, Jacob Tremblay Flounder, Jonah Howard King as Prince Eric, and Halle Bailey as Ariel. So you have some massive names in the supporting roles, but as Eric and Ariel, I would say they definitely cast more, I don't want to say unknowns, because they're definitely known, but not as big of names as a lot of the supporting cast, which I like, especially with them being more live action characters. You want them to be able to make the role their own and not have it be like you don't want to see this is this actor, is this famous character. Like, you want to be able to just see the character, especially when dealing with massive IPs like this. So I really like the casting choices here for The Little Mermaid. Overall, though, I don't know how I feel about this film. I think it's supposed to come out sometime next year. I don't believe we have an official release date, though. I don't know. I go back and forth on the Disney live action remakes, because some of them, like, I really like The Jungle Book. I really like Cinderella. I actually liked Cruella from this year. had to think about a lot about my thoughts of the film, but I think I like it. Um, but when you get into the just straight remakes, I mean, like The Lion King, Aladdin, like I haven't been a fan of those, and when they've tried to remake more of that era of Disney films, I don't. Disney people will get mad at me. I don't know like the terms for for those. I know there's multiple different eras. Is that the Renaissance? I don't know. Disney people, you can correct me in the comments. Um, but that era hasn't turned out the best. I mean, that's Mulan, that's The Lion King, that's Aladdin. Those were definitely all on the lower end, uh, as far as my opinion, on Disney live action remakes. So I'm curious to see how this turns out. I'm not excited for it, um, just because of the cast. But it isn't towards the top of my watch list. Black Adam, I don't have too many thoughts. Just kind of want to see it because we've been hearing about this for like 10 years. Like it's been a while that Dwayne Johnson said, "Hey, I want to play Black Adam," and now they're finally like, "Okay, I guess you can play Black Adam." Um, so I am excited for Black Adam. The looks that we've seen of set photos look cool. I like the production design that we're seeing so far. It seems very vast and sprawling, and ancient, which I think works really well together. Um, and I'm just excited to see what The Rock can do. More Rock. All right. Taika Waititi says that Thor: Love and Thunder is the craziest thing he's ever done. I feel like he said this multiple times, but it's still news every time he says it. We get it. This movie is going to be insane. I'm excited for this movie. Um, I don't know how it's going to top playing imaginary friend Hitler as far as the craziness scale, but I'm here for it. I'm really excited for this movie. I'm just excited to have Natalie Portman back at the MCU. So any any way that can happen, um, I'll be excited for. So again, though, he keeps saying it's the craziest thing. It isn't news every time, but we can move on. The French Dispatch has premiered at Cannes Film Festival. I'm so jealous of the people that have been able to see it. Uh, plenty of praise, which I love to hear. Um, Wes Anderson might be my favorite director. I think he might be. Um, it's currently sitting at an 89% on Rotten Tomatoes based off of the released reviews. Which is solid because Wes Anderson definitely isn't for everybody. His visual style just doesn't work for some people. It's right about the same as Grand Budapest Hotel, which was 92%. Granted, this hasn't been released to the general public yet. This is only the people who attended Cannes Film Festival. So, um, this is probably my most anticipated of the year. Uh, I'm excited for the anthology aspect of it, because it is an anthology film. I believe it's telling 4 different stories. The cast is of course incredible. Like maybe best ensemble of the year. Just as far as talent before I've even seen the film. Um, but yeah, I'm excited that it's an anthology because I'm hoping that means that we get multiple distinct styles from Anderson. And of course it's all going to be the same, but just as far as like the color palettes, cuz I love his use of color in film. And he usually commits to a color palette for the entirety of one film. Um, but I would love to see it if we're getting 4 different stories. I would love to see, 4 different feels and vibes and color palettes, for each segment, I guess you would call it. But regardless, I'm so excited for this movie. So excited. Something else that has actually gotten me excited based on the trailer was Turning Red, the new Pixar film. Um, this movie looks really solid. Uh, it's about a girl who it basically seems whenever she gets anxious, she hulks out into a big panda. Which, yeah, yes. I'm not quite sure yet whether this is supposed to be used as a like if she legitimately is turning into a panda, or if it's just a metaphor. And the panda is representing her anxious state. Um, but this looks really, really good. As someone who struggles with anxiety, um, I love to see it shown on screen in different interpretations and representations of it. Um, but yeah, I wanna see more. The animation didn't look like anything too special that we haven't seen before. But this this looks deeper than some like it looks on the level of something like Soul. And I talked about in my Luca review. I don't have a problem with Pixar films not going beyond surface level, but I feel like for them to achieve their full potential, and honestly, it's just the expectations that's put on Pixar now. They aren't really allowed to make just in the eyes of the general public, they aren't really allowed to make movies that don't go very deep. And there's plenty of love for Luca. Plenty of love for Luca. I just don't think it's being considered in the top tier of Pixar, just because it doesn't go as deep as, or as existential, I guess you could say, as Pixar's other films. But this really does seem to do that with Turning Red. So I'm excited to see that side of Pixar again, especially after Soul. And the best animated feature field is stacked this year. I mean, we got Mitchell's vs. the Machines, we have Encanto, we have this. Luca could still definitely be in there. We have Ron's Gone Wrong from 20th Century Studios. We have Flea, the animated documentary from Riz Ahmed that's been making festival runs. It was just picked up by Neon, I believe. Very excited for that. Another film that's been making festival runs, I think it's called Cryptozoo, I think. I don't think that's been picked up for a release date yet, but if it does, that could be a big player. Um, Plenty. Raya and the Last Dragon, how could I forget? Plenty of major players in the best animated feature field this year. Excited for all of them. Excited for all of them. Love animation. So can't wait for what seems like a great year. Moving along though, WandaVision's director Matt Shankman is going to be directing the next Star Trek film. So these are two things that I like: WandaVision and Star Trek. So this news makes me happy. I really, really like WandaVision. I still think it's my favorite of the Disney Plus MCU shows. Um, and with Star Trek, I don't know where they're going to go with this, because I don't think they'll be making a film from the cast of Discovery. Um, but I also don't feel like this is going to be a continuation of the Kelvin timeline films with Chris Pine and Zoe Saldana. I don't know. I feel like this is just going to be a standalone story. I feel like they're kind of going in the direction of what Star Wars was doing with the like a Star Wars story films, which I think is good for Star Trek. I feel like Star Trek could work well as just like taking a look at a singular issue and really breaking it down, because Star Trek is definitely more. It, I don't want to say. I guess it'd be more like thoughtful than Star Wars. As far as with the mainstream stuff of their films and TV shows. Don't get me wrong, I love Star Wars. Uh, but Star Trek likes to deal with more complex issues. So I would love to see. I mean, WandaVision dealt with grief, and dealing with loss, and the where people can go with those feelings if they aren't restrained, and what someone with the power to change reality would do if one of their loved ones, if they lost a loved one, which was really cool to see explored. And Matt Shankman did a great job with that. So I feel like I really do feel like he fits very well with what Star Trek traditionally is and what the mythos of Star Trek is. So I'm very excited to see whatever this is. I'm just excited that we're getting new Star Trek because this has been in development for a while, another Star Trek film. So just excited to see that it is moving forward. We got some first reactions of The Suicide Squad. People are calling it one of DC's best. I'm just happy for James Gunn. Excited that he was able to make this and that it's getting received well. People are liking it. People are liking it. Comes out in less than a month. Completely here for this. It's every trailer that I've seen I've loved. So yes, please. I will be there opening day. I was already excited for it. These positive reactions are just making me even more excited for it. So yes, and yes. Speaking of DC, their Superman, maybe Henry Cavill. Who knows what's gonna happen there. Henry Cavill is gonna be doing a rom-com called The Rosie Project. So this is interesting because I don't think Henry Cavill's ever done a rom-com. I don't think so. It's based off of a Australian novel, and it focuses around a genetics professor named Don Tillman who struggles to have a serious relationship with women. With a friend's help, he devises a questionnaire to access the suitability of female partners. It seems like a very traditional rom-com. I don't know how I feel about Henry Cavill in this leading role. I don't know if this works for him. It wasn't a rom-com, but it definitely wasn't one of Cavill's more traditional roles with Enola Holmes last year, which is getting a sequel. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure how I feel about this. I mean, the premise is fun. It's, like I said, feels very traditional rom-com-y, like very 80s or 90s rom-com. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how. Again, I don't know if Henry Cavill works for this. I'll be completely here for it if it does. But I'm tentative. We did get a new poster for Dune, and it looks beautiful. If this film is even like it beautiful. Wow. It looks gorgeous. I never thought that a poster would like hype me up this much for a film. But like these visuals, like check out this new Dune poster. Stare at this Dune poster. Looks gorgeous. I'm in love with this poster. So we also got a runtime, 2 hours 35 minutes, which I love too. Because this film should be sprawling. It should be long. It shouldn't be like an hour 45 film. It should be 3 hours. Like it should be a long film. Because one of the major downfalls of David Lynch's Dune from 1984 is that it feels very like they're trying to tell like 5 films worth of story into one film. This should be, I mean, this is just one film story. Now I know there's supposed to be a Dune Part 2 and Part. I think this is supposed to be a trilogy. Um, but I want this to be slow. I want this to be sprawling. I want this to be long. I want it to bask in its visuals, really showcase them, uh, and just it tells like Dune is such a massive story. So I want it to be able to take the time to tell this massive story. And looks like that 2 hour 35 minute runtime is going to be doing that. Last story of the day. Antonio Banderas has joined Indiana Jones 5. Yes, 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 yes. Wow. Do we think that he's a villain? I don't know, maybe. Would I like to see him as a villain? Maybe. Guys, we have Harrison Ford, Mads Mikkelsen, and Antonio Banderas in the same film. Directed by James Mangold. Oh, and did I mention that Phoebe Waller-Bridge is here too? No, I didn't. Okay. Guys, this movie comes out in a year. Comes out next July. I can't wait for this trailer. I want to see all of these incredible cast members just like on screen together, and it will make me so happy. Um yeah, so excited for this. This casting news is fantastic. Um I don't know what type of character he's gonna play. I could also just see him in like a smaller role as like this informant. Um, he's just like he's getting information to Indy, um, or even just kind of in like a Sala role from the original trilogy of films, because it's a trilogy. There's a fourth. No, there isn't a fourth one. Why are you making stuff up? Um, but yeah, Antonio Banderas, so entertaining, such a great performer, so completely on board with this casting, so excited. But that is the movie news for today. Thank you so much for listening. I really truly do appreciate it. This will be every Saturday. Should be every Saturday that I will be sharing this show with you guys. Like I said, you can check me out on The Basement tonight, live at 7 Central. I'll have more reviews, rankings, all of that fun stuff coming in the coming weeks. Lots of great stuff. I think could be absolutely terrible, and then I'd just be lying to you. But let's assume that it's great, and then we can put it out. You can find me on Letterboxd at Trevor Matteson, on Twitter at Matteson the, and Instagram at the Trevor Matteson Movie Show. You don't have to follow me. I don't care. But you can if you want. Alright. Thank you so much for listening. And I will see you guys soon for more reviews. Until I see you again, though, thank you so much for listening. Stay safe, everybody. And goodbye.